What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and joining me here today is my co-host, as always, talented writer over at FirstRoundMock.com, but he's also been doing some great work for us over in the on-air department, Mr. William Yanish III. William, how's it going, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing great, except for my sunglasses. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's rough.
man, that's
Get them
rough.
and yeah, totally. And then the weather just isn't right out here in Colorado, and I know Mason here is down in Arizona. How's that going, man?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a little bit of what they call it. They call it monsoon season. So right now there's sun, but next 20 minutes we could get some rain. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. That's about the same weather we're having up here, man. Uh, I don't know. Tell me about your team. And uh, the what is it, Northern Arizona Wranglers, and what made you come to play for them?
Well, 2019. I got into the draft with the COVID year, and I kind of put football down for a little bit. And I met my agent, ran along him, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you should go try the IFL. You still got ball in you." So last 2 years I spent with the Duke City Gladiators, and this year, I impressed a couple coaches, and Coach Moss was the guy that he swung me. I love the way he coaches, love the way he leads. So that's what put me in Northern Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Our how did you come to pick, our alma mater, Colorado Mesa
Oh,
University here in Grand Junction? And after everything that all of your accolades and time at Woods Creek in Utah, man.
uh, you know, well, to be honest, I didn't really have anybody guiding my decisions, so I didn't really know anything. I didn't know what preferred walk-ons were, and I had a lot of preferred walk-ons throughout Utah. But one team that was pretty interested was Colorado Mesa, and I'd gone and visited. I'm like, oh, it's a pretty cool town. And they offered me a preferred walk-on, and they kind of explained it to me, and I was like, cool, I'll shoot that shot. And as soon as I signed the preferred walk-on, they gave me a little scholarship, and that's where I stayed my 5 years under Coach
Definitely,
Russ Martin.
definitely. So, of like I mentioned, your accolades and such, of all of your awards and achievements, what was the most fulfilling to you and to your team?
Most fulfilling to me would have been the introduction in high school into the Utah Hall of Fame. That was a big one, and that was a big voted on. I never would have got that without my team. Of course, they allowed me to do what I could on the football field, but outside, I got a lot of support because I had a few rough years in high school. So a lot of my teammates were able to band together to help me out. So
Nice, man, nice. So after your coach, David Moran, he suddenly passed away
yeah.
from a massive heart attack. How does that affect your mindset, and how do you prepare going forward?
Well, that's a tough one, and like I've told a couple fans, you got a bunch of tough football players. We don't do very good with emotions. But you can definitely tell in the locker room we're all pretty hurt by it. He was a big part of our defensive scheme, big part of our special teams. Coach Moran was in a little bit of everything. So it's definitely it's surreal at this point. It's hard to believe that it really happened. We just had our first practice, and it definitely, there were some of the screws were a little loose. So as a team, got to come together, tighten everything up, and push forward. But he sorely missed, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Use that fuel for the rest of the season, and what it can be. A tribute to him. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, who was your role model or mentor? Through your time in football.
Well, shoot, I've had a couple. They've always been my strength coach, though. Realistically, in high school, I had a strength coach by the name of Dale Lloyd, and he kind of pushed me, and entered into college. I met the guys at Elite Speed Sports Performance up there in Denver. I don't know if you've heard about them, but they Taylor Sheridan, he was my big mentor. It's always been a strength conditioning coach, and down in had Ryan Swoop at Colorado Mesa. These are always kind of my guys. They were pushed themselves on and off the field, and they all had played football at one point in time at several different levels. and they were, hey, you can do everything in the football field. You can be the best athlete in the world, but if you can't get it done outside in the weight room and throughout life, you'll never really amount to anything. You'll be a great player, but no one will really remember you.
Yeah, definitely just going through the motions, and Swoop. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that guy. I'm gonna turn this over to Logan, man. What you got?
Yeah, so Mason, we know you play on the D line. You've got the size, you got some good speed and power as well. I mean, so when you're on the line, what's going through your head? Is it just get to the quarterback, or is it just just doing everything you can to kind of just stop them in their tracks? What goes through the mindset of you as a player as soon as you see that ball get hiked?
Well, first thing you got to check out the formation. You got to know where the running back's at. You're like, okay, am I going to go left or right foot first? What hand's engaging first? How can I get my advantage? Because in this indoor game, I'm telling you, it happens so fast. You blink and, you're 3-4 steps behind everybody else. So it's a lot of preemptive stuff, but realistically, just smash some heads and get in the way.
That's always a good strategy. That's worked out for a lot of players in the leagues.
No, exactly. And film study is super important. So that definitely helps out. It allows you to smash a little harder. But, third year in, I'm really starting to understand how quickly this game goes. And there's only so much you can really do in this game. So it all starts to end up looking the same. So
yeah, so
slow down.
Right. And so what was some of the adjustments you had to make going from, gridirons playing traditional, football outside and whatnot to then going to the indoor league, which, I mean, anyone who ever watched indoor league knows it's like a different monster in a sense.
It's a totally different monster. Well, outdoor, I came from being a defensive end, and, I signed on at Duke City in my first year at 260. And they're like, well, you're big enough to play nose guard. So that was a huge adjustment. And so that's kind of where I made my staple is in nose guard because, I had a hell of a bull rush and, I'm just kind of a pain in the butt to get out of the middle. So, went back year 2, put on some more weight. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the biggest adjustment was position for sure. And it's speed, like I was saying before, because it happens so fast with the double high motion. It's a catch pass. It's a catch run. Everything's happening light speed almost.
I got you. So what you at right now coming in? Now you mentioned, you came in around 260. What you done bulked up to? I see the broad shoulders out there. I see you've been working out.
Well, in the beautiful Arizona sun, came in at 315.
Okay.
I'm staying around 300, 305 right now.
All right. Yeah, so what's that adjustment been like, having to bulk up, 40, 50 pounds I'm sure there's been days where you're like, all right, sweet. I can just eat, whatever I want. I don't got to worry about a cheat day or about, counting calories or nothing. But what's that been like? Just really the overall body transformation that you had to go through in preparation for the season.
Honestly, a pain in the butt.
Really?
You said you didn't have to count calories, but I'm on the seafood diet. You seafood, you eat the food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, that was fun. And yeah, my transformation really happened last year, the beginning of last year, before the 2023 season. I went up to 330. I went from 260 to 330, put it on, and then tried to cut it all off. It was terrible. I'm telling you, I was so tired of food.
Just eating anything. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Food and protein shakes, that was my staple. So
has the cardio stayed there? Have you noticed that, just trying to get used to everything with the additional weight that you've put on, you think there's been a dip, or have you finally managed to, now in the last year or so, kind of get in a routine of how your play style is affected, with getting all that weight?
I totally understand. And realistically, the last 2 years, honestly, and I've had a couple people say it, I'm 300, but I look like I move like I'm 250. Most of the time I'm really moving hard, luckily haven't, knock on wood, no big injuries. Yep. So able to move and groove, but, it's just a motor thing. And my coaches are always preaching it. You got to have a motor. Just can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah. So what's your workouts like in the gym? I know, I did some research. Looks like you're a personal trainer. You did exercise science major. So what's your workout schedule like? Are you in the gym 3 to 5 times a week? You doing cardio any? What's your main area of focus there?
Okay. In season, it's a little harder because you got practice and everything else. So I'll usually 2 to 3 times, I'll do an upper, I'll do a lower, and then I'll do a full body day, kind of just get the blood flowing before game day. usually usually not too heavy on the weights, 4 plates on squats or, 3 plates on a bench, but,
Yep.
Nothing too crazy, nothing too high reps, just realistically get the blood flowing, get the joints lubed up, don't want to be the tin man out there. Off season, it's a whole nother bag of worms. You got all that explosive work and everything else. So my workouts off season are 2.5 hours. In season, 45 minutes, and that's pushing it.
Right, and that's just because you're putting so much energy and time into on the field game, like you mentioned. You don't want to overdo it in the gym because that, like you said, that could be too much on your body. You don't want to come into game day, all sore and banged up. You want to be warmed up for sure, but you don't want to be just come in there with a bunch of bandages on you come game day.
Need enough of that WD-40.
There you go. Yeah, I'm about to say just grease up the wheels and you'll be good to go, right?
Yes, sir.
I got you. Well, what are some of the guys you modeled your game after? You mentioned transitioning to the tackle position. What was it like? What was some of the game film that you studied certain players over the years that you've tried to model your game after in that sense and really kind of adjust on the fly in a way?
Well, I've definitely tried after Aaron Donald. That's for sure the biggest one.
Oh, yeah.
Now, have I got there? I'm hoping so, but that's up to the viewers. But realistically, AD, he's smaller, just like me. He's not the biggest dude in the room, and that's where I modeled and I took a lot of my technique from. Granted, I'm more of a stepper, so I'm a step punch type of guy. So that definitely comes into play. My agent, he does a lot of the personal training in the off season with me, and I tell you what, he's teaching me stuff that I can't wait. When I start coaching, I'm gonna be like, oh, I got all these tricks, guys. We're gonna be okay. So that's my model.
So that's the distant goal in the future. Then getting the coaching. What made you kind of want to say, okay, after the playing career is done for, is it just the fact of the camaraderie, as you mentioned earlier in the interview, the fact that you just kind of a band of brothers. What wants to make you get into coaching once your playing career is done after 20 some odd years after all this, after you have another successful couple of seasons there in the indoor football league and potentially beyond. Well, looks like Mason, you still there with us? Looks like we might have dropped him, William. Essentially so, looks like it. Well, with that,
he's still on screen, but
he's still on the screen, but looks like he might have froze up, which that's all right. We'll just keep chatting here and see if he pops back in the next minute or so, and just go from there. But man, let's just talk about that real quick, William. Let's talk about the fact that this man, Mason Newton, who we're interviewing, indoor football league player, went from 260 pounds to 320. I still can't get over that. The fact that he gained 60 plus pounds in a short amount of time, it seems. That's I still can't get over that.
Yeah, that is something that's pretty insane because I'm about the same size he is. Well, not 300. I'm at about 240, 250.
Yeah.
And I put that on after my hips had problems, but it's just a point, putting on that much weight, keeping it on, it's got to really be something.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Mason, looks like I've got you back here.
I apologize, guys. That the heat, the phone wasn't too happy with me.
I was about to say the phone said, "All right, it's getting too hot out here in the desert. We got to cool off here for a brief second."
It said it's time, so I apologize.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all, man. We were just talking about about your weight gain and all that, and how that's just incredible. But so, what are your expectations? Come in 2024. We're in the hot summer months now. So, what are your expectations for your team and also just for your own personal brand here for the rest of the year?
Well, for the team, we got to win out, and if we do, we have a pretty good shot of, making the playoffs and having a pretty good run for it. But we've had a little bit of a rocky schedule, and last week we should have come out with a win, but just too many mental mistakes and other things. So hopefully the goal is to win.
Yeah,
I'm gonna switch my phone. It's all sorts of weird.
Yeah, all good.
But the goal is to win and go into the playoffs and hopefully go deep in the playoffs because it's pretty cool to play and earn rings. I did that in college and not many people can say they did. So
Yeah, and let the fans at home know, how many games you got left in the season, and also where they can check y'all's games out, where they can follow you, and also where they can follow your own personal brand, across social media, where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, definitely. YouTube, IFL, or Indoor Football League. We have one more home game on the 13th, and the next one is we play this week in San Jose, California. So that's a little bit of a drive, but we're excited. 3 games to finish out, so we're excited. It'll be fun.
It's going to be a good one. And William, do you have any final questions here before we get out of here for today?
Yeah, just sitting here and listening to you talk about, the different traits between motor and strength, size, versatility, the processing speed, and the most important, I feel, is heart. What is your greatest trait?
Well, I've talked on that motor, but I would have to put heart up there at the top as well. I love this game. This game has done so much for me. It's opened up doors, and I've met people that, I would have never met any other way. I love this game, and I want to give back. Speaking back on the coaching aspect, I want to give back to those kids and show kids that, hey, you might not be the best athlete, but if you have heart, you have drive, you have determination, you can go play football anywhere. It might not be at, Penn State or something crazy. You will play football, and then it'll teach you a lot of life lessons. And that's something you can, take with the rest of your life.
No doubt.
For sure.
Hopefully that answers the question.
No doubt about that. Well, hey, Mason Newton, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Happy to learn about you today and talk about your career throughout college, high school, and now doing your thing out there in the Indoor Football League. Go out there, check him out. Like I say, he's got a big game coming up this weekend out in even sunnier, I guess you could say, San Jose, California. So best of luck to you and your team out there this weekend. We hope that you guys come away with a dub. And if you do, like you said, just let the guys out there know, like, hey, maybe we had some good mojo over here at the show, and maybe we'll be your good luck charm.
Heck yeah, for sure. I love it. I appreciate you guys having the time.
Yeah, man, no problem. And once again, for my co-host, William Yanish III, appreciate you as always, man, coming on here. Be my right-hand man, help me out in these interviews and all the videos we do. And, guys, you can go and check out our interviews with a bunch of other players we've had here on the show, also our team previews, game previews, and so much more over at 100 Yards Football, Sports Talk Radio, Facebook, YouTube, and also on our podcast every single week. For William Yanish III, for our special guest, Mason Newton, I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, go out there, enjoy your 4th of July, and we'll talk to y'all again on another